Hey everyone, doing a bit of an exciting update today. As you can see, I got some fish today, and so it's always exciting when you get a something that you've been waiting for a long time, and I've been waiting for this fish for quite some time. And these came to me from Pennsylvania. So, in terms of my farthest shipment, this was it. I think. Although I have received some from Hawaii, and I'm not quite sure that could actually be farther, but it's pretty close. But I wanted to start in talking about these fish right here. I wanted to start up with these guys. So I'm going to do a bit of a 3-tank update for you guys. If you recall, this was initially it had a carpet of Java moss across the bottom. And I went in to do some work. The Java moss released from the mesh that it's on, and I went ahead and did a Java fern project on some saucers, and then I went ahead and later have added this substrate. This is the Flourish. It's kind of a fluorite, excuse me. It's a red fluorite from Seachem, and I love the look of this. I think it looks really cool. It is foggy stuff. I mean, it is dusty. But the bags come with a mesh on the bottom, so you can kind of rinse it as you add it. But it is still kind of messy, and it's certainly much messier than Eco Complete. But it just looks great. I love the look of it, and really neat. So that tank is going along. The reason I'm talking about that is that for my new fish, I went ahead and used all this Java moss. And what I did is when it released, I had a big, basically 1 foot by 6 inch, 1 foot by half a foot, just chunk of Java moss. And I went ahead and just put that in a bucket, put it on the porch, and just kind of changed the water every few days on it. And that stuff multiplied, and I had a ton of material, and it was for this tank that I'm going to show, and I'm pretty excited about it. So I'm just going to go down the rack here, and this is the new tank, and these are my second species of Brachy. This is the lace Brachy, so Brachyraphis rhabdophora. And these, like the cardinal brackies, are from Costa Rica. They're pretty aggressive fish, but I really do like them. You have to basically keep them by themselves. You can't even really keep them with cories. They're so aggressive that they'll harass cories, and that's probably not a good idea for the cories nor for the brackies, as a lot of cories, or maybe all cories, have spines. So anyways, what I did is I've got these mesh Java moss carpet walls that I've kind of bent up along the side, and I used all the Java moss from the tank above it, and I basically multiplied it just by leaving it out on the porch for about a month. So pretty amazing. And these fish, I've kind of mirrored the tank setup that I have below for my cardinal brackies, and I'll show that off by providing this Malaysian driftwood structure that will protect fry. They will also end up hiding underneath these when the moss actually starts to come up through the mesh. These will there'll be a gap underneath, and youngest baby fry can hide under there. And so you can see these guys. I've got 6 of them, and they're doing great. Really excited about those. So they have a different look than the cardinal brackies. They have more of a yellow fringe to their fins. They're a little bit lighter. The cardinal brackies have kind of a base color that's like a brown. These will have kind of a base color that's gray. So They are settling in. And it's interesting scaping for something that you really need to provide hiding spaces for the fry. You have to think a little bit differently because even the other day when I was feeding my cardinal brackies, and I'll feed them right after this to kind of show you what they're like if you haven't seen them in any of my other videos. There was a little one that kind of came out, and one of the dominant females just vacuumed him up like it was just, you know, right in there with the flake, so without a second thought. So they are very aggressive. So you really have to kind of think about how you're going to provide fry some hiding spots. And, you know, in my opinion, you want it to look nice. I didn't want some kind of industrial fry trap in there or anything like that. Obviously, the more complicated it is and more planted up, the harder to catch fry later. But that's just, you know, kind of the trade-off for these types of fish. So you can see one right there, and they're doing great. So I'm really excited. They've been in there about 15 minutes, and they're doing fabulous. And you can even see they start to go behind just kind of bubbled areas of the plastic. And maybe in another video I'll just kind of show how to make those. They're really simple. Just some stuff from your hardware store. So what I thought I would do is to show what this tank will ultimately turn into. I'll go down here to the cardinal brackies, and I will go ahead and feed these guys. They got some grindle worms this morning, so they're going to get standard flake this afternoon. And you can just see, I'll try to show adults, intermediate juveniles, and then some young fry. And you can kind of see how they're stratified in the tank. So I'm going to go ahead and open the lid down here and show these guys off. Obviously they're voracious, and you can see them right there. So the one in the front, that's Big Mama. She's dominant female. There is dominant male, and then secondary female and right on down. So you can see I've got some juveniles that are from my first drop that are now up top. I've got some, there's another one, and I've got some younger guys kind of in and amongst, so you can see them back in there, and they kind of hide. They just basically go where Big Mama and her cronies can't. So I'm going to go ahead and feed these, and then what you can see is, you'll see, number one, their feeding behavior. They're very crazy. And then maybe we'll find some little guys that'll come out from the bottom, and I can show those off. And if the big ones get irritated, they will really chase each other. But if they have enough hiding spots in places where she feels like she's in charge, and then everyone else has a spot where they feel safe, and you can see some little guys starting to come out from secondary and tertiary drops, and then right down there you can maybe, I don't know how this phone's catching it, but you can see some fry coming out from underneath the Java moss right there. So I've had really good success rate, I think. My initial, before the plants grew in, she was pretty voracious. I did have an initial drop that I think I got out of like the 10 or 15, there was 2 that survived. But once it's kind of grown up jungly like this, I've gotten better and better success rate. Now, I don't know how it'll do once I get some of these juveniles graduating into voracious parents, but at that point, hopefully I'm starting to ship some out and thin it out. I try to vary their diet quite a bit. These live bears don't seem to like spirulina flakes all that much. I do try to offer kind of a real spirulina based flake twice a week. But I also have had some good success having them take shelled frozen peas that I've smashed up, and they seem to like that a lot. So trying to give them some vegetable matter, but they by and large prefer grindle worms and white worms. So that's what I hope this tank ultimately will look like. So you can see that the Java moss, which this tank's been running for about a week, and I cycled it without any fish. The sponge filter in the back, I swapped out the dual sponges with one from a couple other tanks to get some bacteria in here, and then obviously there was probably still some on the Java moss. And in a tank setup like this, I think the Java moss carpet really acts like your substrate would in another tank, where the nitrifying bacteria, where they're colonizing the rock in the substrate, is actually here in amongst the Java moss and obviously on the wood. So there you go, guys. There's a new fish. I'm really excited about my second Brachy species. Kind of exploring the behaviors of this guy further, and also the fact that Costa Rica has an export ban on fish. So these are hard species to kind of find, anything coming out of Costa Rica. So most of these guys have been in the hobby since probably maybe the late 80s, early 90s. I'm not sure when the last groups of collections were brought out of Costa Rica. So, all right, we'll give you an update as this tank goes along. Talk to you soon. Bye.